Hotel, Jakarta. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite to come to this table honorable guest, Ms. Jennifer Nicholson, Secretary General of IPLA, honorable guest, member of Governing Board of IPLA, Ms. Nyang Lekchua, and honorable Director of National Library of Indonesia, Mrs. Sri Sularsi. We are delighted to see you all here to join a program which proposes to offer a strategic and coordinated approach to build capacity and sustainability of library association for better future. Ladies and gentlemen, in regard to welcome you here, Ms. Sri Sularsi, as the Director of National Library of Indonesia, will be delivering a short mark that we will be hearing soon. So please welcome Ms. Sri Sularsi.
Secretary General of IPLA, Ms. Jennifer Nicholson, Member of Governing Board of IPLA, Ms. Rashidah, IPLA Manager of Member Services and Development, Ms. Fiona Dr. IPLA Officers from Regional Office for Asia and Oceania, trainers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning to all of you. I am very pleased to be here to greet all of you and allow me to express my sincere welcome to Indonesia. And we are very honored to host this event, Building Strong Library Association Asia Oceania Convening 2014 in Jakarta. This kind of event, I'm sure, will give benefits the member of associations as what stated in the IPLA's vision for this event, which is to enrich society and the library and the information profession by building strong, sustainable library associations. It will help library associations and their members increase their potentials to improve library services to users, to provide equitable access to information, and to develop the library and information profession. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of library associations in Indonesia, we have quite numbers of library associations which represent different types of libraries. The eldest association is Ikatan Pustakawan Indonesia, or Indonesian Library Associations, which was established in 1973. The Ikatan Pustakawan Indonesia is the member of IPLA and Council. And then later, we have Klub Perpustakaan Indonesia, KPI, Forum for the University Library, Special Library, Public Library and School Library, Asosiasi Tenaga Pustakaan Sekolah Indonesia, APSI, Asosiasi Pekerja Informasi Sekolah Indonesia, APSI, and Ikatan Sarjana Ilmu Perpustakaan and Informasi Indonesia, ICPI, and some others. They have taken their important roles to develop libraries and librarians in Indonesia. Realizing their roles, the National Library have met them as active partners in developing libraries in Indonesia. The National Library invites them to give inputs in preparing the library law in 2007 and preparing library development platform 2010 to 2014, preparing library regulations, library standards, and etc. The National Library also has involved them actively in performing library trainings, library researches, juries in the national level for Librarian Awards, for scientific papers, and for public library and storytelling competitions, librarian certification, and librarian accreditation. The National Library support them with facilities as well. For the Indonesian Library Association and Library Forums, the National Library provides them with limited financial support. The financial support not only for the headquarters of the Indonesian Library Associations, but also in the provincial level. The support is intended to help the Indonesian Library Associations to empower themselves to be recognized as one of the prominent associations in Indonesia. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure with this 5-day training, all the participants will learn lots of things, and I'm pretty sure that all the modules will give colorful perspective on how to develop the associations and their members' potential. For the participants and trainers, I hope you jet lag won't stop you to learn and share. For the Secretary General of IFLA, thank you for appointing Indonesia to be the host of BSLA Asia and Oceania Convening 2014. I hope more activities from IFLA can be carried out here in Indonesia, not necessarily in Jakarta. We can do the activities in Java, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, Sumatra, Bali, East or West Nusa Tenggara, or any other place in Indonesia. As the National Library Director, I will give my support, and please do not hesitate to do so. Indonesia is a big country, and we are developing ourselves to be one of the prominent Asia countries. Once again, I invite IFLA to conduct international and regional activities in Indonesia. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention, and do not forget to explore Jakarta, Bandung, and Bogor, two close cities to Jakarta which are for visiting for. There are many places around here that you can enjoy. The place to eat, to shop, and to relax. We appreciate if you could spend all of your money here.
Yes.
Thank you and shopping. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sriswarsi. And next, we will regard to listen a welcome speech from Member Governing Board of IFLA, Ms. Nyan Lecture. Please welcome.
Good morning, everybody. I'm really pleased to be back in Indonesia. Oh, sorry. Just again. Good morning, everybody. I'm really pleased to be in Indonesia. This is my 4th time, but first time in Jakarta. Yeah, twice in Bali. It's beautiful. If you have not been to Bali, you must go. Okay, so today as a IFLA Governing Board member, I'd like to say a few words about library associations in the region and a little bit about the role of our associations and the significance of BSLA, those strong library associations in our region. So first of all, in preparing for this convening, I had the chance to review some of the materials that you had submitted, and I realized that we have a very rich history of library associations in our region. Of course, I think the longest, the oldest association, I feel, appears to be Philippine Library Association, and they were set up in 1923. But all the other associations subsequently were set up, and they have been doing a lot of very good work. So as Ibu Sri Sulasi just said, in Indonesia it was set up in 1973. In other countries, for example, Nepal, Singapore 1955. Some are younger, like Laos Library Association 2007, Cambodia, also quite recent. Myanmar was set up actually twice in the 1960s, and they re-registered in 1992. The Pacific Islands, they have Association of Libraries, Archives and Museums, and they were set up in 1991. I mentioned Philippines and Sri Lanka 1960, Thai Library Association 1954. So you can see the richness of our members here today, and of course there are other associations in your countries as well, supporting the special librarians and different categories of professional work. So what are the roles and the visions for library associations in this region? I suspect it is not very different from other library associations. We all set up the library association really to rally and unite our librarians, and including paraprofessionals, because many of us have paraprofessionals working with us, running our libraries. So we are there really to help to bring together, the knowledge, the wisdom, the experience for us all to share with each other. And I think within each country, every one of us have been putting in a lot of effort to grow the profession. However, as we know, times change, or the habits of how our users use libraries changed very dramatically the last few years, and library associations have to keep up with all these changes from our users and also expectations from our stakeholders. So even though we have been doing quite a lot to grow our association, there is still a lot more to do. So I think if we look at IFLA's Build Strong Library Association and what it means for us, to me, this is a historic moment, frankly. It is the first time we have IFLA, which is the International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions, helping us, leveraging on the resources worldwide. It is a very rare opportunity, and I hope we all realize that this is an occasion for us to celebrate. Seriously, I was so happy when the Jennifer and Fiona informed the governing board that they were going to run these workshops in the various regions in the world, and we are the second, right, Fiona? So this week will be very exciting for us, both to explore and almost to review and rethink what our library associations have been doing. Whether we're young or old, I always say the issues, the challenges are very similar. I was just talking to our friends at dinner last night and this morning at breakfast, and we all were moaning and groaning a little bit about how it is so difficult to attract our young librarians to join our library associations. They always ask us, what is in it for us? In Singapore, they pay a membership of $100 a year, and they said, but I don't think I'm getting $100 back. So it is something that library associations have to constantly work at. How do we attract our younger librarians to join us? And I think during this week, during the convening, we will be learning tools and skills, and we can share this with our other librarians. So I really look forward to the week, and as Fiona told us yesterday in the preparatory meeting, this convening is not a series of lectures. It is a lot of discussions, a lot of ideas to be generated during the 4 days we spend together. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and I look forward to our participation and contributions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gillian lecturer. And now we will regard to listen an overview from IFLA Secretary General, Ms. Jennifer Nicholson. So please welcome.
Selamat pagi. IFLA Governing Board member, Mahnke. And I'd also like to acknowledge Premila, who is sitting here, and Rashidah, who is sitting over there, who have also been Governing Board members of IFLA. So you are the region is well represented here at the highest levels of IFLA. Back in August in Singapore at our Congress, at the CDNL meeting, I spoke very briefly with Mrs. Sulasi and Otto and said, would you be prepared to host this meeting? And without a moment's hesitation, they said, yes, very much. So, on behalf of IFLA, terima kasih. As Nyan has already talked a little bit about this, but for IFLA it is very important for us to be much more actively involved in the regions. This is why we changed our strategy, our whole approach, several years ago, and certainly in the development work that we now do. The Building Strong Library Associations program came from a dream of the Management of Library Associations section. It started with 5 little pamphlets. I just happened to be on that section at the time, and when I went to IFLA as Secretary General, there just became the opportunity for us to turn this program into an international program. Some of you may know that we have worked in a number of countries so far. That model worked so well and beyond our expectations. But to keep doing that would take us 100 years to get to where we are in this room now. So we came with this regional model. And we, of course, have grant funding to do that. Indonesia, of course, in my view, and I think certainly within IFLA, is the growing view that Indonesia, of course, is an emerging influence, not only with its economy and the influence of its leadership, but over the next 10 to 20 years will be one of the countries that leads international librarianship. A number of reasons for that. One, of course, is, yes, it is an emerging economy. Another, it has a population and a young population that needs the support of libraries, the important role of libraries in education, in entrepreneurship, and in improving the lives of its citizens. Because libraries and library associations are about the communities in which we operate. That is why we are there, as library associations and as libraries, to serve and work with our communities and to improve the lives of citizens in our countries. Indonesia, of course, also has, at least at the present, support at the government level, which is a very important factor. So for us at IFLA, Indonesia is a rising star.
Thank you.
I should also add too that in the regions, and this is all of you, you are also Asia, Oceania, and Africa, in particular of our regions, You are the future of libraries. Because you are in those regions where, like here in Indonesia, you have populations, young populations, your economies are improving, you can innovate, you can be entrepreneurial, you can do these things that some in the more traditional Western countries cannot do. So you are the ones with the golden opportunities. To bring that back to today, or this week, as we've said, you'll be working hard. But what you'll be working on is what is possible. What is it that you think? It's like we thought this BSLA program 5 years ago, 10 years ago, right? We didn't know that this was going to be possible. But it is. It is now happening. So this is what you can be thinking all of this week. Not about the small problems in your associations. We challenge you to think big, to think about what might be possible. Because we hope that throughout this week, we can work with you to actually start to realize some of those dreams you may have about your association. This is not a one-off workshop. This is a 3-year program. So you will be involved, you will get to put in projects, all of these sorts of things. So you don't go